all right. I Bleed Honor Sports Network. Such a time as this. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it sweet. We're going to keep it simple. Happy Easter Eve. Tomorrow's a big day. The real meaning of Easter. Just want to do a couple shout outs to some sponsors before we get started. We had a heck of a March. Charlie T's Wings going into Pendleton. As you're going down 176 into Clemson, it's actually in Pendleton right before you get to Clemson. It's on the right-hand side. Been in business 50 years. I've got their wing sauce. I've yet to try out their wings. I plan on trying them out next week when I'm over at Clemson. But they're doing something right. Been in business 50 years. Actually, they've got a turnkey operation. We're going to hook them up big time for the football this year. Because, I mean, you just think about it. Wings and football just go together. Wings and March Madness go together. So what they do is you can go to their website, charlieteeswings.com. Let's say we have a 3:30 game and you want to pick up your wings at noon. You just go in there, you put in your name, put in your order. When you arrive at the place, say you arrive there at noon, you give them their last name, just right out the door. It's turnkey. Also, Bracken Real Estate, they come on board for the second year in a row. They renewed. Dan Bracken, he's over in Powdersville, but he covers a lot of the upstate, doing something right, recognized as one of the top realtors in the upstate consistently over the past couple of years. Vapor Nation, got to love them. They have done the opening show with us for the football for the last 5 years in a row, and they always get the first show. They'll be doing the LSU game with them. And, Purely CBD Greer, which is on Wade Hampton Dawn, was actually our second sponsor. So we're excited for them renewing. We also had a great spring post-game show at Bixby's, and we appreciate Bixby's allowing us to come out and do our show there for the fourth year in a row. So we're kind of in a period right now where we're in a lull period. Football's over. We're in the off season. The spring game's over. We're going to touch on that a little bit. Baseball is basically the sport we have going on. Well, Clemson got as high as number 8 a couple of weeks ago, and everything was looking good. And we had the Angels and the pixie dust and the unicorns flying around, and then all of a sudden we went on a 10-14. 10 out of the last 14 games we lost. Not ranked in the top 25, of course, now. We are out in California. Did play Stanford. Late game last night, being on the West Coast. I didn't get the end of it, but it started at like 9. We did come away with a win, and we got another game out there in California at 5:15 today against Stanford. Clemson's record is actually a little bit better than Stanford, so we got a good chance there. Taking the series. We seemed to play good out west. We did very well. Went out there and played Stanford and then played California, and that series out there with the basketball team, and then came back and went on a little downward spiral. All right, so diving on into the spring game, and then we'll get back into some other stuff. But was that spring game? If you didn't get a go, you should always go to the spring game. It's free. It's relaxed. It's low key. You don't care if the orange wins. You don't care if the white wins. You just kind of want to see how everything's clicking, how people are playing. You don't want anybody to get hurt. So I got a couple takes from the game. My main thing is that it was offense. I'm feeling pretty good about defense. Will Height's coming back. He was one of our probably our best player. We had a couple guys in portable. Most of the portable that we got were actually for defense. So I was kind of just targeted on the offense, and quarterback, of course, in any football team is one of the most important positions there is. So I was kind of focused on the quarterback and what was going on with the quarterback, what I'd see at spring game, and so my take on my spring game is a couple things. Chris V, who I believe it could change. I think Chris V is probably going to start for us. The reason for that is he's had more experience than anybody else. He's been there. Ever since Cade came on behind Cade, we hadn't really seen him play a lot except in the SMU game last year. And he actually did fairly good. He passed for over 300 yards. He's pretty consistent. So he's got the experience. Then we got a guy named Tate Reynolds, who looks like the California kid. He's got that name, Tate Reynolds, something about him that just seems like that may be a big name in a couple years to come. But you know how Dabo is. He's all about loyalty a lot of times. But Tate looked good. Tate looks like the most naturally talented quarterback we have. And then we had Pierman, I think, showed out really good. I don't think he gets the respect he needs. Chris started out a little choppy, but then he stepped it up. He got consistent. He hit that that down and out over in the corner of the end zone. He threaded the needle there. So I look at Chris coming in and starting. I'm looking at Tate Reynolds being our next big man. And I always said this: our receiving core. We have the receiving core university. It's called wide receiver university, Clemson. With Mike Williams and Justin Ross and all the guys we've had over the years. And then we hit COVID. And we went through a couple of years where we didn't have that razzle dazzle of those top dog receivers. We seem to have that. That's all come back into place. We had 2 receivers didn't even play, but I was talking to Dad about this, and if any of y'all guys as old as me and girls and ladies as old as me, and you can remember back in 1981 when we won a national championship, Chris just needs to be good. He doesn't have to be great. It'd be great. He doesn't have to be Deshaun Watson. He doesn't have to be Trevor. And honestly, I don't think he is. He is that. He just needs to be good and consistent, because I think the rest of the team with the wide receiver, quarterback university, and all the receivers we have in now, we could have a chance. If he plays good, consistent, doesn't get a lot of turnovers, stays healthy, we got a chance of making a good run this year. What stood out most to me and was Gideon Davison. And I had seen some YouTube videos on him. The guy's a freak of nature. There's one I saw, and if you want to Google it, look up, where he's in a parking lot and he goes running and basically runs up this wall like Spider-Man. If you hadn't seen it, I don't know what you Google in, or Gideon Davis running up a wall. But one thing I noticed about Gideon Davis, and this is very, very important when it comes to football. Okay, and I don't want, not so fast, my friends, I don't want to throw him out there like the next ETN. But he does, since we had ETN, reminds me the most to be like ETN. The way he hits the line, the way he hits out of the backfield, the way he accelerates, the speed he has. He had a great, great spring game. He was a true freshman last year. He didn't get a lot of the playing time. I think that's going to be a name if he stays healthy. The bottom line is this: if you can consistently get 5 or 6 yards, establish the running game, it opens up the playbook for everything else to come into place and everything else to happen. So, and I think we're going to run the ball a lot. And if Gideon's, staying healthy and getting out of the backfield real quick and getting down there and getting us 5 or 6 yards, then it opens the playbook. You got 2nd down and you got an open playbook. Instead of being 2nd and 9, you've got 2nd and 4, and it opens up a lot of opportunities. And you got Chad Morris at hire, the Energizer Bunny. Great hire, I think. I've talked about it when it first happened. I wasn't sure about it. But, bottom line is he's been there before. He's got some history there. He knows Dabo. He did not leave Clemson because he got fired or anything else. He just found a better position, a better hire, a better head coach job. And you can't kind of blame the guy. So he's kind of full circled and came around. But you got to remember that he was coaching us when we were starting to climb up that mountain, when we had Taj Boyd. If you look at the fast-paced offense we have with Taj Boyd, and then we got into Sean coming in on his freshman year, who was the guy behind the calls? It was Chad Morris. So he's got experience with Clemson. He's got that fast tempo offense, which I think is critical, because the defense always tires before the offense. And if you can call them snaps and fast-paced offense, you kind of keep the defense off good, especially if you're clicking on all cylinders and you're gaining yards. It's just a recipe for success, I think. I think it's a great hire. I think Tom Allen, kind of give him a little bit of grace on his first year. His second year coming in, he ought to, we'll never have another Brent Venables. I mean, it's kind of like, the Elvis Presley or whatever you want to call it, of defensive coordinators. God, I miss him. And I know most of Clemson family, but he had to go on, become head coach of Oklahoma. Can't blame him. He's from there. It was an excellent opportunity. I wasn't an Oklahoma fan. He started coaching them. But, I think with Tom Allen, I think, what we got in the off season during the transfer portal, who we brought on, and some of the returning guys like Will Height, we're gonna knock that down. We got the number 2 safety in the transfer portal, which helps out, because we had a little bit of problem with the secondary last year. So I think the defense is going to be better than it was last year, even though we've lost Peter Woods, Adrian Terrell, Blake Miller, to name a few. So talking about those guys a little bit, the NFL draft coming up, and they've got their predictions. They actually got Cade Klubnik going in the second day of the second round. Peter Woods, they're predicting him as the number 10 draft with Cincinnati. Okay. Adrian Terrell, me being a Cowboys fan, Adrian Terrell, number 20, going to Dallas Cowboys, what they're predicting. So that's another first round. Blake Miller, they're predicting, number 17 for Detroit. And there's anybody else? There's another guy. But anyways, there are about 4 they're predicting to go in the first round of the NFL draft, which is coming up. So anyhow, football season is in that waiting period, in that incubation period where you sit back and you wait and you count down the days. We're about a little over 5 months out. Once it hits around about 99 days, it starts going faster. I'm just telling you, man, I'm not a negative person, but I'm just thinking baseball. Unless we get on a 10-0 tear, I mean, 10 out of 14 games, we were sitting at number 8. Not so fast, my friends. We're look at the baseball team, and then we go and lose 10 out of the last 14. So hopefully it was a bright little spark last night, even though Stanford's not at Georgia Tech. A win's a win. It builds momentum. We got a game today at 5:15. We can put together a couple wins in a row, get some momentum, finish the season out good, go to the ACC tournament, hopefully get a postseason bid. I mean, but we can't do that on the track we've been on. And we've had some tough luck. Now, there have been some games which got blown out, but we've had some games that we should, could have, and would have won, but should, could have, would have done do it. Either you get it done or you don't. We just weren't getting it done. And you make excuses all you want to, but 10 out of 14 is not good. I don't know what this percentage is there, but it's not a good winning percentage out of the last 14 games. Not being negative, hoping they'll turn that around. Pitching looked really good in the beginning of the season. It kind of slacked off. So we'll keep you updated on what happens tonight. Of course, Clemson's out of the March Madness. Everybody's bracket's busted. I actually got 2 teams in there that I picked for my bracket. They're still in there. One being Michigan, and one being Arizona. So we got 4 teams left. I am predicting. I'll tell you what. The 2 teams I don't want to win, or I think are going to be in the finals, UConn and Arizona. But anyways, we'll see. I am pulling for Syracuse, and hopefully Syracuse, the number 3 seed, can kind of startle everybody. When you get down to the mathematics of it, there wasn't really a lot of Cinderella going on this year. Basically, you got Arizona number 1. Basically, you got Michigan number 1. Basically, you got UConn number 2. Basically, you got Syracuse number 3. So Vegas kind of knew what they were doing. They kind of got it right. It went all number 1 teams. If you go to the women's bracket right now, we're in the final. Well, we're in the finals now, but we were in the Final Four last night. But every team in that bracket was number 1. You had South Carolina, you had UCLA, you had Texas, and you had that other team. But they're all number 1 seeds. It looks like it's going to be the old Lady Gamecocks and UCLA playing tomorrow for the national championship. So that's fixing to wind down. Girls softball is pretty much staying consistent, not really lights out, but they're playing decent. They look like they may have a run. Just kind of waiting around. Got Masters coming up here, we have one Clemson guy that's going to be playing in the Masters. So we're going to be pulling for the Tigers even during the Masters. That's the one golf tournament that I love to watch. So anyways, what else? Just want to thank all our sponsors. We're going to keep this really short and sweet. Just that time of the year, that it's not football. Basketball is over. Baseball is going to wind down. College baseball usually winds down by the end of May, and then you get into the postseason, and it's over with before the end of June. So that's winding down. Got a lot of sponsors coming on board. Really grateful for all these guys. We were having a record March. Nothing seems to be picking up. We're getting a lot of hits, a lot of traffic. Everything's growing. Everything's popping. Everything's kicking. And the best is yet to come. Let's go. All right. We are 14 minutes into this. I'm going to try to go to 20, but if I ended early, I'm sorry. It's not game day. It's not Saturday morning when you wake up and we got a game of all this college football playing. But anyways, all your sponsors that sponsor us, we really appreciate it. We are so grateful. It is a blessing from God to be able to do this for a living. And I thank you so much. We'll do whatever we can, as much as we can, to get you on the map, make sure people know who you are and buy their goods, services from you. We still have some openings for the upcoming football season. The LSU game, we don't know if it's a night game. We do have one show sold, but if it's a night game, being it it's going to be in Baton Rouge, we have the ability to probably have 2 more shows. And we got the Carolina game already sold out, but everything else is pretty much wide open. And what we'll do is we'll bring the most exciting sports network to your place of business. We will set up, go live at your establishment, whether it be a car dealership, a vape nation, a real estate company, a sports bar. It really doesn't matter. We'll go live just like ESPN Game Day and break it down like nobody else does. We have a ball. We've had a lot of success doing this. We'll talk about whatever's going on in the football world. We'll get you on camera. We'll stream you about 12 different ways in 12 different places. We want you to tell us about our business, get the word out to our customers and their fans. And then we'll do like a live ESPN Game Day pick, and we will do the Tiger chant at the end. And we never have a dull moment. We always have fun. So here we are in the 1st of April, just kind of a lull time. And so talking to Jacob, we did a podcast down there at Ingalls, a live show over, what did we do that? Thursday morning. And we're just talking about a couple of things. It's April. We're about at, once we get in about 99 days, it'll start going pretty quick. But right now, I mean, we got golf, we got all these other sports just kind of winding down, waiting for football season to kind of pick up. But so anyways, we're going to keep doing this every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. And any breaking news that develops, we'll do shout outs to sponsors. We also are having a huge following, a huge growth on our podcast on Tuesday night. We started that thing about 3 years ago. Started out, me and Rowdy Tiger and Jacob came on about a year and a half ago. We do that every Tuesday night at 7:30. And we also do shout outs to our sponsors on the live show on Saturday and on Tuesday night. Unless it's a holiday, we'll be live every Tuesday at 7:30 and Saturday at 11, unless it's game day. And then we'll be live at a location of a sponsor or business to do a live show. All right. What else? So I know what I was going to bring up, and I lost my train of thought. We were talking about the basketball team, and we'll kind of wind it down over here because there's just not a lot of breaking news. We're pretty much losing everybody. Now, if you realize when we made that Final 8 run, Brad Barnell went into the portable big time and rebuilt the team. I mean, I think the talent we had after that Elite 8 run was one of the best talented teams we've had since like the early mid-'80s. We were really talented. We had a couple star players. My take on this year's basketball team is the defense was solid, but not so fast, my friends. The defense was solid. I think near the end of the season, a lot of people started to figure our defense out. But if you look before we got to like last 10 games of the season, we were actually ranked number 1 in the ACC in defense and weren't relying on a lot of front. The main problem I believe that Clemson had this year, first of all, it's a game called basketball. And the object of the game called basketball is you got this orange ball that you bounce and you hold up in your hands and you shoot it. And there's a rim and there's a net on that rim. And the object is to get that ball to go in that rim through the net to give you 2 points, to give you 3 points, or if you're at a foul line, to give you 1 point. And one of our main problems is our offense was not there this year. That was not consistent. We did not have that star player. There was no player, I believe, that scored over 20 points in the game. I could be wrong. I know 30 points it didn't, but our high scorer was Godfrey was 11.8 points. We didn't have that Michael Jordan. We didn't have that Steph Curry. We don't have the Larry Bird. We didn't have the Cooper Flag. We didn't have that main guy, the beast, the guy that's the solid scorer, the guy that you give it to, that time after time after time. Everybody just kind of eats, and there's really no superstar. We need to pick up somebody in the portable this year, in the transfer portable, or recruit somebody and go out there and average about 20 points a game and give us some solid offense. And we got to make our shots. If anything, if you're missing that many shots, get in the gym an hour early. My God, man, I would have the players running laps afterwards. When you're shooting under 30%, and then when you're taking threes and you're not getting it in the paint, and you keep taking threes and you're 1 for 10, studies have shown, you need to look at what's going on. And if it ain't working, you need to change it up a little bit. But the offense needs to play better. The offense needs to be more consistent. The offense needs to have a higher percentage of of field goals made than what we have. So the defense can only take us so far. Now, I am impressed with the defense. As the old saying goes, a great offense wins games, but a great defense wins championships. But when your offense plays that vanilla near the end of the year and you're shooting less than 30%, it's just hard, even though you're holding the other team in the 60s, 70 or less points a game. It's hard to win games when you ain't making most of your shots. And you got to make the free throws. They are called free throws, which means they're free. And if they're free, you should at least make 80% of the free ones. You can't not make them 8 out of 10. Anything less than that's unacceptable, basketball fans. So, like I said, I'm going to end it early. Life's been good to me so far. The best is yet to come. Got to wear my shades. So anyways, go back and watch our spring game. We had Stevie come on with a gorilla suit. We had a great time. We had, I don't know, 6, 7 sponsors. Put your shades on today. Watch a little bit of basketball. We got we got a 6 o'clock game, and then we got, I believe, an 8 o'clock game, and then we'll have the finals on Monday. We'll have the women's finals tomorrow. Hope everybody gets to be able to go to church tomorrow and experience the real reason for Easter and what Jesus did in the resurrection, such a time as this. Just grateful for that. Not to get into spiritual things, but everything is really spiritual. And you get to spend time with your family. I know it's supposed to rain tomorrow in upstate, but it's supposed to clear off sometime around 2 or 3. So if you got kids and they want to do Easter egg hunting, hopefully that storm goes through. We need rain really bad. Really bad. We're in a drought situation, but it decides the weather. It's got a mind of its own. It does what it wants. It decides it wants to come in on Easter. But I'll take it. We need rain, and hopefully it will clear out sometime after lunch, and the kids will be able to get on there and do their little Easter egg hunting and all that stuff. And the bunny will come visit them tonight. They get all that candy and Cadbury and all that good stuff. But us adults, let's just remember what the real reason for Easter is and what we're really grateful for and celebrating there is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So what a holiday. And so anyways, we're going to end it. And like I said, it's going to be a short show today, and it has been. Not a lot to talk about. As we get closer to football and more things develop, we'll have more to talk about. But hopefully the baseball team can finish it good. Hopefully they pick up some momentum out here in California and they get things going and give us a good finish. And the ladies softball. And congratulations again to the gymnastics team for winning the ACC. Out of all the sports I've watched, well, I'm impressed with golf because I didn't realize how hard it was until I started playing in my early 30s. And I pretty much played consistently, but I didn't play till I was like 30 years old. One of the toughest sports, but I'm going to be honest with you. To me, I don't know. I'm not that flexible. To me, gymnastics blows my mind how they do what they do. You would have to be calling 911. You'd have to be calling the ambulance. I'd be in the hospital if I tried some of those flips. I can't even touch my toes without bending my knees. I just can't. And if I'm going to flip backwards, I'm going to be on a diving board, and there's going to be some water behind me because if I flip backwards on the ground, I might have to break my neck. So anyways, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting us. Until next week, all God's children said.